What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be like every other video, chilled, laid back. We are going to be playing with makeup. What's new here? Nothing's new here. I will be doing a full face using Black-owned makeup brands, which was highly requested from one of you guys over on my Instagram. And I said, you know what? That's an awesome idea. I went into my collection. I pulled out all of the Black-owned makeup brands I currently have in my collection. So this in no way is a first impressions. These are all brands that you guys have seen me use on my channel throughout the year. And some products are staples in my collection. So if you guys are excited for it, you know what you could do? Press that like button so that way I know and I can film more videos just like this. I also want to know that the proceeds or revenue from this video will be donated towards Black Lives Matter. I will have that link down below in the description if you guys are interested in donating as well. And if you cannot donate, that's completely okay. A way that you could really bump up the revenue of this video is to watch the ads all the way through without skipping. It will be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Click that bell. Do I even need to say it at this point? Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into the video. Let's go. So jumping straight into things, my eyelids are already primed. We're just gonna get straight into eyeshadow. Now, all of the eyeshadow palettes I have here are from Juvia's Place. I love Juvia's Place formula and their eyeshadow. I also really love the color stories within her palettes. The palette I'm gonna be using today is this one right here. This is the really big, large and in charge Masquerade eyeshadow palette. It is so beautiful. I love that it has a mixture between pops of colors and also those neutral tones. Realistically speaking, I'm probably gonna use these bottom two shades right here. So don't at me, don't come for me. I really just wanna do something fun, not fun. I wanna do something neutral, to be completely honest, just because I wanna take some cute pics for the gram. So the first shade I'm gonna take is this cooler tone brown shade right here. It's definitely a lot cooler than some of the other browns within this palette. So I'm gonna take that on an M441 and just rock it into my crease as my transitional shade. The next shade I'm going to take from within this palette is this bottom one right here. So as you can see, it's just slightly deeper than that transitional shade I went in with. And because it is darker, I'm going to go in with that same brush. And I'm going to start patting it right here on the outer V. Now, I do really want to do something that's a little bit smoky, but still very soft, like soft glam, if you will. Just because, I don't know, I'm not really feeling too bold and daring today, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. I know I've been doing a lot of neutral looks, but I do intend on filming some really fun and poppy looks for Pride Month. And I also have the brand new e.l.f. Cosmetics palette that they created in collaboration with Jay Kissa. So I'm really excited and eager to play with some color. Just know those videos are coming if you guys want to see something a little bit more fun and daring. I really love how Juvia's Place eyeshadows blend out. As you can see, they're not getting patchy whatsoever, and they're building up very nicely on my lid. This Masquerade palette is nice because it has like those cool tone browns, but it also has warm tone browns. So it's a really good cross mix between the two. I really love that they incorporated these two shades within the palette because sometimes, to be honest, I really don't want to go in with an eyeshadow that's really orange and warm. But that's just me. I know some people are different. I know some people are really into those brick warm eyeshadows. Some days I am, some days I'm not. It really just depends how I'm feeling. This is so pretty. It is unreal. Like, I'm really feeling how everything's turning out. Now I'm gonna go back into this shade right here. I'm gonna take a little bit on an M433 and I'm gonna start blending it, maybe not in the outer V, just like a little bit more centered, but not in the center like completely. Does that make sense? I don't know, but you guys kind of get my drift. It's in the center, but it's kind of like off-centered at the same time. I'm just gonna run this right in this area, go back and forth, just so that way the colors really blend. I definitely want to add a little bit of warmth to this look to make it look a little bit more grungy. I'm gonna take this brick shade right here called Ada on a fluffy brush, and I'm really gonna go to town and I'm gonna start blowing this out in the outer V. Now, I really don't want it to be like wham bam brick. I really want it to be soft and diffused, which is why I'm going in with a little bit, and I'm going in big old circular motions as opposed to really just packing on the color. So this is a way you could always get like a really pretty soft and diffused look without it being overly intense. I'm gonna switch over to an M514 and I'm gonna go back into that first shade right here. And I'm going to start lightly feathering it inwards. Like I want it to kind of be like a gradient. So I'm just softly diffusing it all over the lid, and I think that looks really pretty. I first thought I wanted to keep this super bright, but I kind of want to fill it in with this brown just so that way it looks really pretty and smoky. I feel like going in with a blending brush for this step is really nice because you could softly diffuse it onto your eyelid as opposed to packing on too much color all at once and then trying to blend it out. I'm sure you could see just how well these Juvia Place eyeshadows are blending out. They blend out like a dream. They're laying very nicely over top of that eyeshadow base, which I love. Now, I for sure really want to use this frosty white shade right here and put it like in my very inner tear duct. I'm just going to put a little bit just to see what it's gonna look like. And then I'm going to intensify it once I put on my eyeshadow. My eyeshadow, my foundation. Ooh, girl, loving this. I'm also going to softly just bring it inwards, but not all the way. So kind of just so that way it's like peekaboo. Peekaboo! Like I'm there, but I'm like barely there. I'm also going to take a hint of this shimmer and put it on the highest point of my brow bone. Wow, I haven't done a brow bone highlight in a while. I cannot believe I'm doing this. I don't even know who I am right now. But I just want to add a little bit more shimmer to this look. I'm now going to switch over to this palette right here, also by Juvia's Place. And I'm going to pick up this shade right here called Chad. It's the black from within the palette. I was debating whether or not I wanted to incorporate a black, and I'm like, psh, why not? Ball out. I'm going to take an angled brush and I'm just going to start placing this closest to my lash line to mimic a liner. Now I'm getting a little bit of fallout with this, which is why I'm glad I decided to do my base makeup last, because we can easily clean up this fallout. I'm going to switch over to a softer brush here, and I'm going to continue packing it, especially on this outer V. I'm eventually going to really blow it out and kind of like smoke it, but I really want to make sure it's packed on very, very nice. Now I'm taking an M506 and I'm just softly diffusing out this outer part. I'm not really going to diffuse out the inner part. I'm mainly focusing it right out here. You guys know I live for a really, really pretty blown out wing, but I'm not going to do a wing at all today. I'm really just trying to create a really pretty grungy glam. So I'm also going to bring up that black a little bit. I'm going to use that same M514 I was using before with the brown, and I'm not going to add any additional product. I'm just going to use what's here, and I'm going to start blending it right here in the outer V and a little bit into the crease, but not too much. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that brick shade and I'm just going to tap it right over the black and just intensify the outer V a little bit. The last thing I'm going to do before I pop on false lashes is take a little bit of this black shadow and just kind of connect it with how far up the blend goes, just so that way it looks a lot more, I don't know, so that way it makes it look like it was done on purpose as opposed to looking so disconnected. And for me, I just like to use a flat brush to just connect everything because it makes it so much easier. So there's no denying that this is a shit ton of fallout, but that's besides the point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up all of the fallout. I'm going to pop on falsies off camera, and then we're going to continue on and finish off the rest of the face. So BRB. Now that I have lashes on, I'm gonna move on to primer. I'm gonna use this primer right here by Fenty. This is the True Matte Pro Filter Mattifying Face Primer. Now, it definitely is mattifying, but it's not overly mattifying to the point where your skin's gonna feel extremely dry. I would definitely prefer to pair a mattifying foundation with a luminous foundation, but that's not the case today. I will also be using a mattifying foundation, so we're gonna be hella matte today. I would use a Fenty foundation, but I definitely feel like the original foundation that they came out with kind of breaks out my skin, and I'm not really feeling any of the shades that I currently have in the hydrating foundation. So instead, I will be using this foundation right here. This is by Juvia's Place. This is the I Am Magic foundation. Now, I will say this is an extremely full coverage foundation. It's also pretty thick. So if you are into something a little bit more airy and just skin-like, this definitely is not going to be the foundation for you. I do have a full review video up on this channel. I do have a full review video up on this foundation. I will have it listed up in the cards. No idea why I couldn't get that out. Anyways, let's continue. I want to say the lower the number, the darker the shade. So I'm going to go in with 620 Fess. And you can see it is pretty thick. This is going to be way too light. Oh no, it should be fine. I'm going to take Capri too because I'm very interested in seeing which one's darker. I honestly can't tell. I'm just going to take my sponge and start pouncing it. And like I said, this is an extremely mattifying, full coverage foundation. A little bit goes a very long way. Hell, even those 2 stripes is probably enough to cover my whole face. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but you guys get me. Oh my goodness. What blemishes? Like where? Oh, cover it up, baby, cover it up. So I think the foundation is nice and blended out. Honestly, if you guys love a foundation that's full coverage without feeling overly matte or cakey on the skin, this is definitely a foundation you're gonna want to try out. I really love it because it covered up all of my blemishes. As you can see, like, what blemishes? Like, you can see the texture a little bit, but you cannot see the color of the blemishes whatsoever, and that's because this is a true full coverage foundation. I'm really big on color corrector, and I didn't even have to go in with one prior to using this foundation, so that definitely says a lot about it. I'm now going to pair it with the matching concealer. This is the I Am Magic concealer in the shade 20. I want to say the lower the number, the darker the shade. I'm going to take a little bit of this because just like the foundation, a little bit truly does go a very long way. Also going to do my little concealer trick. I'm going to let it set or sit for 45 seconds, and then I'm going to take my sponge, dip it into the concealer I have on my hand, and then blend it out. Whatever I have left on my sponge, I'm going to use it to highlight down my T-zone, just so that way my face doesn't get overly light. I promise you guys, this is probably the last Juvia's Place product I'm going to use in today's video. Not that that's a bad thing, but I know it's like back to back to back to back.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Not again.
I'm going to take this loose powder. This is the I Am Magic loose powder in the shade White Sands. I do know this comes in 3 shades, White Sands, a banana shade, and then a deep shade. I opted for the lightest one because I felt like the banana would be a little bit too dark underneath my eyes. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of this powder on a sponge, and I'm going to use it to set underneath my eyes. So that way that concealer just stays put throughout the day. Now, for the sake of timing, I am going to finish off my lower lash line off camera, so I will be right back. So my lower lash line's done. I did quickly want to point out that it was my first time using the Juvia's Place under eye powder, and I'm not the biggest fan. I feel like it looks very, very heavy, especially like right here in this area. Kind of sad. but we'll get past it. I am going to move on to contour or bronzer for that matter. I'm gonna use this one right here by Fenty. This is one of my personal favorites. This is the Sun Stalker bronzer in the shade Shady Biz. And if you hear that rumbling, it's storming here in Florida. Well, it's about to start storming. And that's just how it is here. It's been raining like crazy. It's unreal. All right, so now that I'm nice and bronze, I am gonna move on to blush. Now, the blush palette I'm gonna use is by Bakerie. This is the Face and Body palette. You guys have seen me use this on my channel. I'm obsessed with this orange shade right here. So I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna dust a little bit onto my cheeks. I feel like this is gonna look insanely beautiful and really complement the eyes very well. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of like a beaming highlight, at least I haven't been recently, but I'm still gonna go in with this. This is the McGrath Labs Sublime Skin Highlighting Trio. I picked this up during a Sephora VIB sale a few months back, actually probably a year ago, and I really love this. It's so pretty. I'm going to take this middle shade here because it leans a little gold. If you look closely, you'll see that this one has a purple shift to it, which is really nice. These are so blinding and intense. So I'm gonna go in with just a little bit and dust it right here. This is gonna be more of a golden highlight, so it's not your typical champagne or anything like that, but these are well worth the money. They are so gorgeous. If that's a little much, you could even go in with a highlight from the Beauty Bakerie palette. I'm going to do that because it is looking just like a little too gold for me, so I'm just gonna top it right in the center just to make it look a little bit more of like a champagne gold. I'm also going to take a little bit onto my nose, temples and forehead, just a little bit on my chin. Yeah, you can definitely see like streak of highlight, but you guys get the picture. I know you do. Just going to blend my blush a little bit more into my highlight so it's not so streaky. Before finishing off with lips, I'm gonna go in with the Beauty Bakerie baking spray. I'm gonna give this a good old shake. Honestly, like hairspray for your face, no lie. I'm gonna finish things off with the lips. I'm gonna use this lip product right here by Beauty Bakerie. This is in the shade I like to Chai Chai. This is their lip whip, so here we go. About time we cover up these foundation lips. All right, guys, so I zoomed you out just so that way we can kind of get a feel for the look as a whole. Honestly, my hair in this claw clip, so different. I almost don't recognize myself, but all in all, I love how this look came out. It's grungy, it's smoky, it's glam, it's everything I was looking for in this look. I do want to touch on the products a little bit. I didn't really have any issues with any of the products with the exception of that loose powder by Juvia's Place. I feel like it looks a little heavy in this area, so not the biggest fan of that. Other than that, all the products I use in today's video are products you guys have seen me use time and time again on my channel, and I really, really did enjoy them. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and remember, all revenue for this video will be donated towards Black Lives Matter. So if you guys want to donate as well, I will have that link at the top of the description box, so make sure you guys check that out. And with that, I don't think I have much else to say except I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.